Welcome to the show. It's Lindsay and Krista. If you're new, what's up? This is initiation time.
Welcome to the family. Welcome to the Almost 30 community. We are a community-based podcast. We did communities before anyone else did communities and monetized them. We were all about bringing you helpful information and resources, all the things we wish we would have known in our transition from our 20s to our 30s. And we did it as best friends and business partners with a deep love for the people that we work with and serve.
Yes. And early on in the life of Almost 30, so much of our content revolved around health and wellness. And so it's always really nice to, though we've kind of branched out and kind of gone in different directions, whether it's spirituality or relationship self-development, it's important that we come back to that pillar of what we do because it does affect everything else. And this conversation with Jessie, the glucose goddess, we've had her on before, which went viral. We're so glad to have her back to talk about her glucose goddess method. Has honestly changed the game for you and I, but also for thousands of people in really easy, simple, like ways that you can do today. And it's been blowing my mind each time I talk to her. I'm like, another hack?
The hacks are so simple and
so simple.
Highly recommend, if you have not already, listen to the first episode we did with Jessie. You can search Glucose Goddess Almost 30 and find it anywhere you listen to podcasts. Super informative, and it'll be really helpful for you in understanding the importance of glucose and why we want to have stable, regulated blood glucose levels and the benefits of it, and sort of the foundation for the conversation that we will have today. Today's going to go much more into the specifics of how you can leverage the Glucose Goddess hacks and, practices in your life in a really easy way. So you can listen to both separately, but I think it's really powerful to listen to the first one to really understand some of the science.
Yes. So today we're walking through her Glucose Goddess method, which is basically a 4-week method that will for sure change the way you feel and hopefully change the way that you approach eating and lifestyle. We also talk about grounding and glucose. There's a lot of studies that she brought up around different aspects or practices in wellness that Krista and I both love, but didn't realize that they affect your glucose. So grounding is one of them. Getting sunlight into your eyes first thing in the morning is also another one of those. Exercising, the effect of like kind of intense exercise a couple times a week and how that can actually be beneficial, especially for preventing cancer or those with cancer. We talked about the exercise after a meal, especially even just some calf raises can do a lot of good. So it's really, really fascinating.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one. I've added vinegar to my diet since having her on the show. Organic Olivia is a friend. She has a really good product, Gluco Bitters, which is bitters and apple cider vinegar together in this product. And it's really, really helped my energy be super stable. And it's also helped my digestion, my skin. So it's all super easy. And again, these are ancient practices too. So adding vinegar to your diet is an ancient practice. Grounding is an ancient practice. Walking after meals is an ancient practice. So it's really bringing up these things that we've been doing over time, but maybe we sort of lost sight of, and then incorporating it again into our day to day.
Truly. So the new book is The Glucose Goddess Method. It is out now. You can follow Jessie on Instagram at Glucose Goddess. Her hacks are on there every single day, and it's really valuable to see the kind of diagrams she has of different options. You might have a rice cake, but then you can have a rice cake with peanut butter, and you can have a totally different glucose spike or non-spike. So check that out. And if you are new to Almost 30, you want to explore our world, you can go to almost30.com. We have our membership, which is just an incredible place for you to be in community, to learn and grow, to have fun, and to really feel that accountability on your path. We also have programs like the Life Edit, Krista's signature program, and my signature program, The Sacredness of Being Single. So you can learn more about those at almost30.com.
Almost 30 Podcast on Instagram, Almost 30 Podcast on TikTok. You can find reels and clips from the show. And then we have a Clips channel, Morning Microdose, which is our baby podcast that has some of the best from Almost 30 in short form. And we love you guys. We're so grateful to have you here. It means so much that you're a part of our community, and we're excited to dig into this one. So let's get into it.
Let's do it.
We're so glad to have you back in person. Sisters. The glucose revolution is happening here now.
I'm so happy to be back.
So happy. Now that we've gotten all the shit talking out of the way before we recorded, all the truth telling.
No comment.
No comment. I'm so grateful to have you. And this is a book that the book you have coming out this week is a book that we've been talking about behind the scenes. And even in our last conversation, we sort of prefaced what it was going to be about and why. And you wrote a book really recently. Like, you've been kind of working hard. So I'd love to know why another book this fast.
Yeah. So the first one came out just a year ago. And it was, all the science about blood sugar, why you should care, the hacks, what to do about it, stories. And it had my story in it. It was like almost like the Bible of glucose, right? And after that first book, I started getting these weird DMs. People were DMing me and being like, hey, Jessie, could you move in with me and help me actually do the hacks? And I didn't get that just once. I got that dozens of times. I was like, oh, okay. So people understood the science. They were like, fuck, I'm having glucose spikes. I need to fix it. But they wanted a bit more of a step-by-step guide to know how to start, when to start, And so this second book, The Glucose Goddess Method, is the answer to that question. And so it's basically me moving in with you for 4 weeks and telling you to just okay, lean back, relax, follow my lead. I'm going to guide you through this process of changing your life and applying the hacks and incorporating them into your life 1 week at a time. Because really, the hardest thing about all this is just actually doing it. And so I want to make sure that I'm serving every single type of need so that people actually get it done. So I'm so excited, and it's so gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
It's so gorgeous.
It's so much.
I love
the cover is
cover.
amazing. It's so you. It just feels so good.
It feels really good.
Why 4 weeks? Is it like a particular kind of weaning on or weaning off, or how do you set it up?
It felt right. So the 4 weeks felt right. So essentially the way it works is that week 1, we look at breakfast. So week 1, we change our breakfast from whatever you're having before to a savory breakfast, which keeps your glucose level steady all day. And I have a bunch of recipes in the book to actually help you do it. And so then for the whole 4 weeks, you continue with the savory breakfast.
So it's building.
It's building.
Yeah.
Week 2, vinegar. And again, people are like, okay, vinegar is good for my glucose, but I don't really want to just drink some vinegar and water. That's so boring. So I have a million ways of doing it that can turn into your own little ritual. You get to test things and just have a little moment for yourself. Week 3, veggie starters, which you have once a day before lunch or before dinner. And week 4, movement. And so by the end of those 4 weeks, it's as if you took the on-ramp, on the freeway to the rest of your life. Now you're set. Now you have these habits in place that you're never going to really get rid of because you feel so much better so quickly. You're like, okay, this is my life now.
100%.
And so I just wanted to help people get from that 0 to that 1 state. That's really important to me, actually helping people do it. Because we've all heard eat better, exercise more. That's so vague and unhelpful. I'm here to solve the motivation issue. I'm here to actually help people do it because that's the hardest part.
And to actually feel what it feels like to begin that change. Because I think that's what people miss, because they don't commit long enough to feel the change. So once you feel the change, it's kind of they perk up.
Absolutely. And I can tell you, after those 4 weeks, so because I'm a scientist, I wanted to get more data on all this. All the hacks in the Glucose Goddess Method are all, backed by amazing scientific studies, but I wanted to get my own data. So I recruited in October 2,700 people that went through the method when it was just still a PDF, and the photos were really gross photos. It was not even the final photos. It was really super raw. But I had all these people go through, and I was following them day by day, and they were experiencing this whole thing together. And by the end of the 4 weeks, 99% of people told me they were going to continue the hacks in their lives, which for me, that meant so much. It's so cool because that's just so many lives actually changed. And it feels really good.
That's amazing. I love what I love about it. And I already do a lot of the hacks.
Yes.
Because I'm a good student. Is that it's not really changing my diet. It's like adding or moving things around, or like adding vinegar to my diet has been so simple. Having veggies first is so simple. And I think that's the most important piece of it. It's like, these are actually very simple things that feel very natural. Walking after you eat is very natural. Like, it's really been intuitive for me. So I'd like to start with week 1 of breakfast. What are some of the things that people can look for, or how they can support a breakfast that feels really good for them? And why is breakfast so important, especially from a glucose level perspective?
So your breakfast kind of dictates the rest of your day. So if at breakfast you have a big glucose spike because you're eating basically just sugars and starches, maybe like cereal, maybe oats with honey, maybe bread and jam, maybe orange juice, muesli, granola, that's a big glucose spike. And your body, when you've just woken up and it's the morning, your body's very empty and very sensitive. And the information comes through really quickly. Glucose comes through really quickly. So a lot of glucose at breakfast leads to the biggest spike of the day usually. And then once you started the spike, you're on the goddamn roller coaster and you can't really get off until the next morning. It's hard. And so with the week 1 of savory breakfast, you kind of, you just step off that roller coaster forever. And we have amazing ideas of just protein-rich breakfasts that are tasty, easy to make, easy to eat, take 5 minutes. I wanted all the recipes in the book to also be very, very, very simple. So they're all 6 ingredients or less, which is amazing. 5 minutes to make. And there's also the little images of the ingredients as cutouts. So you can just open a page and you're like, oh, I have all those things. I just wanted to make everything as simple as possible.
Yes.
So anyway, so with this new breakfast, what happens is your body actually can make energy much more efficiently. Because I remember, and last time we talked about this, like, sugar at breakfast gives us pleasure, makes us feel like, woo! But that's not energy. That's just dopamine in the brain. On the inside, when you have a big spike at breakfast, it actually hurts your mitochondria's ability to make energy. So it's really important to get that right. It's kind of like a cornerstone of your life. And after just 2-3 days, you feel so much better that it just becomes your new life. And you don't really want to go back to the other stuff.
What would an example of like a savory breakfast be? Like
my favorite ones, 2 egg omelets with feta and tomatoes, a little chickpea stew, halloumi with spinach. I have this one recipe that I love, which is called ice cream for breakfast. And so it's Greek yogurt, some berries, some nut butter, all whipped together. You can make it the night before. It's like this nice little cold thing in the morning. Another one I love. I call it the avocado accident. It was one day I had all this stuff in my fridge and I just wanted to make a breakfast. I think I had like hummus, tuna, avocado, some seeds, and some salt. I was like, okay, I'm just going to make a thing. And it became this accident on my plate of the hummus, the avocado, and the tuna, and the seeds, olive oil, and salt. And it was so good.
Oh, it sounds so good.
So it was the accident. So lots of things like that you can just whip up, not much cooking required. And that will all make you feel really nice and happy.
And those have a good balance of the protein, fat, and fiber. So a lot of that, is that really important? So is it more important that we're getting those 3 things or that we're reducing the sugar? Like, what's the relationship between those when you're thinking about breakfast?
That is such a good question. So it's more important to have protein than to reduce sugar. So for example, if in the past you used to have like oats and honey, it would be more important to like add 2 eggs to that up front rather than just like reducing the amount of honey in your oats.
Smart.
The protein is really key. That's going to keep you like steady eagle energy all day. That's really important. And even within the method, like even if people are having a hard time getting rid of their sweet breakfast foods, you can still have those, but during the day, like after lunch or after dinner as dessert, right? So it's super permissive. Nothing is off limit. It's more like just readjusting things slightly, adding stuff. And a lot of people end up eating more than usual and feeling so much better. And a lot of people actually even lose fat, even if they don't even intend to, right? It's not a diet. It's really about your health, but that's a common consequence.
So then week 2,
yes,
we keep the savory breakfast.
Yes.
Then we move on to adding vinegar.
Yes.
And I know some people are like, ew, vinegar.
Ew.
So how are we going to incorporate it? But also, why is it so important for your glucose
So
levels?
the science shows us that vinegar contains this wonderful molecule called acetic acid. And acetic acid is pretty dope and does 2 things in our body. One, when we have a tablespoon of vinegar before a meal, the acetic acid in the vinegar slows down how quickly starches turn to glucose in our stomach. And second, acetic acid goes to your muscles and goes like, hey, muscles, please soak up more glucose as it arrives into your bloodstream. So those two things are very powerful in reducing the spike of a meal. So the hack that was in the first book is 1 tablespoon of vinegar before a meal. You can just dilute it in some water, for example.
Mm-hmm.
During the method, there's like 30 different ways of having this, right? From like these beautiful mocktails, like the mojito slushy, the cinnamon tea, a lot of dressings that you can actually use on your food instead of drinking the vinegar. And it's really, really fun and beautiful. And of course, there's the Glucose Goddess Classic, which is just a tablespoon of vinegar in water. And the photo is so gorgeous. I'm wearing this like Gucci suit that says GG on it. So it's like GG green. And the that's so much fun.
Like, yeah. I love that we talked about one interview you were on. You're like, yeah, I was really sick. I was in a Balenciaga sweatshirt. I was chilling. I'm like, dude, the important shit.
Making science sexy. That's what we're here
for the apple cider vinegar, just quickly on that. Is it true that if you have it after your meal, it will actually hinder things because it will slow your digestion? I've heard that.
No, it's fine. Even if you have it afterwards, it's also okay. It's just more effective up front. But you can also have it, during or after a meal. And on week 2, the idea is to have this vinegar drink before the meal of your day that's the highest in glucose. To use the power of the vinegar as effectively as possible. So for example, if you want to have a cake in the afternoon, have the vinegar before. Or if you're having like a pasta dinner, have the vinegar before that.
If you've been following my journey, you may have seen that I recently ended a long-term relationship, my marriage actually. And what I'll say is that the biggest thing that's supporting me in my journey with my mental health, with my emotional stability, that's helped me to really take on this season in a way where I feel really good and supported is therapy. So we are the biggest proponents of therapy here at Almost 30. It has changed my life. It has helped me become more of who I am. And it has really been the biggest thing that I've used for personal growth. So we're such fans of BetterHelp because they make therapy accessible for people and they also make it affordable. I love that you can reschedule appointments in the app. You don't have to call anyone or email and wait for a reply. And also you can keep in touch with your therapist in the app as well. So if you need to check in or just kind of get feedback on something, or if you feel like you're in one of those moments where you really need support, BetterHelp has got you and you can reach out to your therapist directly in the app. BetterHelp is so incredible because they make therapy really easy and accessible, and I'm excited if you've never tried therapy to try BetterHelp. You can get matched with a therapist that is specific to your needs and what you're looking for, and if you don't vibe with them, then you can just switch it out. There's no pressure, there's no problem. You can keep going and find the person that's going to be a fit for you. I'm so grateful to BetterHelp for working with Almost 30 because they've been such a great partner. And they've also really supported so many of you in getting the support that you need and feeling better and feeling more whole. So you can find more balance in your life and feel more like yourself at betterhelp.com/almost30 to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/almost30 to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/almost30 to get 10% off your first month. And that's betterhelp.com. That's HELP.com/almost30 to get 10% off your first month today. If you are loving this episode with Jessie, I'm so excited to tell you about one of my favorite snacks, a Glucose Goddess approved protein bar and low sugar chocolates that are naturally sweetened with dates and nuts. Everyone's pretty much obsessed with them. And this is from BTR Nation. So BTR Nation is incredible. The founder's been on the podcast before. We are such fans of the brand. And they're really on a mission to fix our broken food system. So when the founder, Ashley, witnessed the appalling snacks that she saw in hospital vending machines and cafeterias while taking care of her parents battling cancer, she knew that she could do better. So she took to the kitchen to create bars and bites that were low in sugar and actually real ingredients. They're boosted with powerful superfoods and adaptogens like reishi and maca. And when her parents passed away, she made it her mission to bring these nourishing snacks to the world. So these are seriously clean, low sugar bars that keep blood sugar balanced and keep you full with no added sugar. They have 7 to 10 grams of the highest quality plant protein and the perfect amount of fiber to keep you satisfied without the bloat and tummy troubles. What makes them really, really special and what I love about them is that there's no sugar, alcohol, stevia, or inflammatory fillers ever. So my favorite flavor is the cinnamon cookie dough. I mean, I didn't know that someone could put everything I like into one thing. I love the cinnamon cookie dough so much, but I really eat all the bars. The peanut butter chocolate chip bliss is really bomb. The dark chocolate brownie is really good. They have a new one, banana nut nourish, which I really, really love. I like to get a mix so that I have all the options. And I really have been so down with their superfood truffle cups. So they have these incredible dark chocolate superfood truffle cups that are brownie batter. And there's another one that is cherry. They're so great. They're low sugar. They're really high quality. And this is the bar that I see all of my friends eating in the space. They're like, this has fiber. This is low sugar. This is all ingredients I love. It is the one to get. So btrnation.com, you can get 20% off all of these items, and you can support your blood sugar journey. You can support having a healthy, regulated, even blood sugar level with BTR Nation. btrnation.com, and the promo code is almost30. You can go to btrnation.com and use promo code almost30 for 20% off site-wide and free shipping on orders $15 plus. That's btrnation.com and use code almost30 for 20% off site-wide and free shipping on orders $15 or more.
And another thing I want to mention is, like, in the method, apart from the hacks, you do whatever the heck you want. You eat and drink whatever you usually do. It's not about cutting anything out. It's about placing these sort of like gentle giants into your day and noticing how amazingly your feeling of your body changes, and you don't even want to eat that sugary thing anymore. So it's really healing from the inside out, not trying to apply willpower to things.
Right. Is there a suggestion or science behind how much time between breakfast and the next meal, or should we wait to have breakfast, or should breakfast be the first thing you do when you get up? Kind of,
I don't really know. That's a good question. I think instead of like the timing of breakfast, what's more important is how you break the fast, right? So it's less important if you have it at 7 a.m. or 11 a.m. It's more important to think about what's actually in the food. But I'll look into this a bit more for you if you want. But from what I've seen, it doesn't matter that much. Yeah,
but that makes sense. The breaking the fast and how you do it.
Because the longer you wait, the more empty your stomach is and the more sensitive you're going to be.
Sure.
So if you fast, 12, 16 hours, and then the first thing in your mouth is like a cereal bar or a fruit juice or a fruit smoothie, that's going to be a massive spike waiting to happen.
Right.
Yeah. So I think just listen to your body and see.
Andrew Huberman says that you should definitely wait 60 minutes after you wake before you eat.
How come?
I'm not exactly sure, so I just know the information, but it's waiting 60 minutes after you wake up before you eat. And then an hour and a half, he says an hour and a half is like best to start, 60 minutes after you eat. And there's something about, I think there's something beyond that, but I just remember that pace. I was like, okay, I'm going to make sure to wait.
Cool.
I could see that because your body's still
waking up.
Yeah, acclimating.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. One other thing that I've learned from him and that now we know has an impact on glucose is getting sunlight in your eyes in the morning. Yeah. So just light. Very interesting. I've been doing that. I love it. It really helps me go to sleep better at night.
What has there been studies around that and glucose?
Yes.
What has that said?
So when you do that in the morning, it sets your circadian rhythm better, and so it sets your hormones up better, and it has also a beneficial impact on your body's ability to regulate glucose throughout the day and throughout the night. So it's very cool.
Wow.
And all this stuff, it's just like, we know this. Yes. Like, we humans are meant to see the light of day. Like, it makes sense, all these things. Even like all the hacks that I talk about, for many of them, you find that these have been done for, centuries.
Especially in Eastern cultures, the vinegar use and
veggies first, around the Mediterranean, all over the place, walking after eating. There's a big Indian custom around that. I mean, it all makes sense. And now it's about, okay, we know why they work. We can visualize their impact on the body. So let's bring them back into our lives in a way that feels good so that we get back to that nice state.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the sunlight in the eyes, can you just explain that a little bit more about what exactly that is and what the benefits are, just for anyone that might not know the information around that?
Yeah, of course. So if you get light in your eyes in the morning, I think it's within 60 minutes after waking up. And even if there's no like actual sun shining, it doesn't matter. Even if it's cloudy and you live in like London or something, just getting like the light of the day into your eyes helps tell your body, hey, this is the morning. And as a result, 12 hours later, your body will then start producing melatonin. Melatonin is the hormone that you need in order to feel sleepy and sleep well.
Right.
Which is why if you ever travel to another time zone, one of the best hacks to sort of get onto that time zone is to get that morning light. But now we know it matters, even if you're not traveling, even if you're at home. It just really helps you have that cycle, wake up, be productive, have a nice day, and then the night come, not, feel like you have insomnia or aren't able to fall asleep.
Right.
Because many of us, we just wake up, we're indoors, we stay indoors.
With our phones,
Yeah,
or
the phones,
yeah,
the
the
blue light.
light above us. That is for most people, which is interesting to think about. That would be the first input
Yes.
for people of their circadian rhythm is a blue light, and it's a blue light to put them to bed. But Seneca, one of the Stoic principles is to watch the sunrise and watch the sunset.
Oh, I love that.
As like a beautiful bookend to the day.
But many of us can't see the sunrise or the sunset. Many of us don't have outdoor space. And so what I do, for example, when I'm in Paris, is I just get up and I put my coat on and I go into the street and I just find a spot on the street that has some light. And I just literally like stand there looking at the sky for like 5-10 minutes.
They're like, who's that model doing that photo shoot down
I'm
there?
like, don't worry, guys. I'm doing
Yeah.
a photo shoot.
Yeah, you're like, there's nothing on under this.
But it's tough because my first inclination is like I want to get my phone and like, be on my phone while I'm on the street. And I have to be like, no, Jessie, just be in the light.
Yes.
Bask in the light.
Yes.
Like a plant.
And what a
Totally.
moment that is,
It
just
is.
for yourself to have and wonder. Also, just to look at the sky.
Absolutely.
I know.
To remember that we're on a planet, we're humans on a planet, and this is like such a wild thing.
Can I tell you something crazy about that?
Huh.
So I saw this video that said this is how you see the solar system. So in the way that we imagine the solar system, it's like the sun is in the middle, not moving, and the planets are rotating, right, around it. But actually what's going on is that the sun itself is moving across space really, really, really fast. And so the sun is like this, and all the planets are moving around it as the sun is speeding through space. Like the sun is not static through space.
Really?
It's fucking going. Yeah.
So we're not
It's
static
moving.
in
No.
space.
No.
I know
And
we're
we're
like
also
rotating.
spinning, too.
We're spinning, and
It's
then we're
like
we're
also
Yeah.
orbiting.
Yeah.
And
But then
also
we're
the
also
universe is expanding.
Yes.
This is like this crazy thing.
Wow.
Dude,
Yeah, I know.
not even real. It's flat. We're chilling.
Before we move on past vinegar, I wanted to ask about, because I know a lot of people are like having their beverages, so the coffees, the different lattes or the matchas and the different oat milks and the nut milks and the whatever, the dairy. So just as a little kind of aside, how can we optimize those beverages?
The coffee morning, yes.
Yeah.
So listen, the most important thing is to try to avoid putting any sugar, honey, maple syrup, agave in your morning drink. If you need to sweeten, use something like stevia, okay? That's not going to create that big spike. So that's step one. And it might take a while to get to that point where you can go from like real sugar to stevia, but it's a really important step. Number two, when it comes to milks, to figure out if that milk is going to have an impact on your glucose, you need to think about where does the milk come from? Okay, so let's say oat milk. So oats are actually a grain, right? And grains are full of starch. And starch turns to glucose when we digest it. And so oat milk is essentially starch juice. Same thing for rice milk. Rice is a grain, starch, glucose. Rice milk is starch juice. And so when you look at the spike that oat milk or rice milk create, the spike is really freaking big. On the other hand, if you look at nut milks, nuts don't contain that much starch. Nuts are like protein, fat, and fiber mostly. So their milks lead to a much smaller glucose response, if any. So if you're going, plant-based, it's always going to be better to choose a nut milk, macadamia nut milk, pistachio milk, almond milk, hazelnut milk, that kind of stuff, versus a rice or an oat.
Got it.
And then, dairy, if you go the dairy route, a full fat milk is actually going to be better too because of the fat content, which is protective. So in week one of the method, when I lay the groundwork for breakfast, I explained that you can still have your coffee, your tea, whatever you want. Just if you're an oat milk person, I explained a few little things you can do to try to, avoid it, change it, or have it in a way that's less damaging to glucose.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oat milk isn't even that good.
I don't like it.
I don't
so
like
nasty.
it. I'm like,
I
what
don't
is
like
the
it.
deal? I don't know.
I just can't
how
believe
did they
it.
get that trend happening.
Well, that campaign was just like campaign of
Yeah.
oat milk was a wild thing. It's always a wild thing when something becomes so huge.
Yeah.
Like that.
But they were very smart because the way that they went to market is they gave the oat milk to just baristas in coffee shops. It was first not available in supermarkets.
Wow.
So that's smart, right? Because it became this thing in a coffee shop. You can order oat milk.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't like it either. I think it's gross, but it's just my personal taste. Yeah.
You're like, no one get mad at me. I'm not coming for your own milk.
That's fine. I think people just need to know, like, you know,
And
what
it's,
what's in the food.
there's a lot of gums probably to bind together the oats in the water, I would think.
I don't know exactly.
Hey guys,
I'm
Listen,
like,
I'm a
nod and smile at
Krista
me.
Huberman.
Yeah, literally.
I'm a full fat
Andrew
dairy.
says.
I'm a full fat
Same,
dairy kind
I
of
know.
person.
Well, that's very European.
I mean, I guess. What do you have?
Nut milk.
Nice.
Dairy milk is
Or like
puke,
a flax.
Flax?
I love flax milk.
What are you doing with my phone?
Oh, it's yours. I'm calling the cops.
Krista just like leaned over the table and got my phone. No, I got my phone out because I wanted to read to you guys the
research.
the results
Yes.
of the pilot study. So after the 4 weeks of the 2,700 people from 110 countries,
Taking the
might I
4-week
say,
program.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
ages 20 to 90. Yeah, no,
Wow.
freaking cool.
A 90-year-old?
Yeah,
And
And how, so the
4 weeks.
4 weeks, that's it. Okay.
They
Wow.
did exactly what's in the book.
wow.
Like the exact same thing. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Because this is going to blow your minds. So bear in mind, these people for 4 weeks, they don't cut out anything. They just add these hacks in, okay? And the rest of the time, they do whatever the fuck they want. Okay. After the end of the 4 weeks, 89% of people reduced their cravings. 77% of people had more energy. 67% of people were happier. 58% slept better. 58% improved their mental health. 46% improved their skin. 41% improved their diabetes. And 35% improved their hormonal health.
Wow.
In 4 weeks.
Wow.
Wow. I mean, that's insane, actually.
Yeah, that's powerful.
It's so powerful.
I just again love what what you mentioned before, and just kind of hitting that home. The same with the light. It's that these are ancestral things that we've done over time that are culturally have been sort of removed from our diet, and that's what I love. I DM'd Andrew Huberman that I'm like, I kind of need an episode that's like how we're drawing connections between what is natural, what has happened in nature over the course of history that is now being proved by science.
modern science proving ancient wisdom.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So many things.
Which is the thing, like the vinegar. Okay, so third week is vinegar, or second week is vinegar.
Second is vinegar. Third week is veggie starters.
Okay, let's
so
talk
you're
about it.
adding a dish of vegetables
Okay.
Love
to
a
your
veggie
day
starter.
before lunch or before dinner. Again, like the most amazing recipes. And in this particular week, there's so many recipes from my family members. I have like my cousins, my second cousins, my aunts, my mom's the cabbage thing. It's like reading like a like a family
It's like a
portrait.
family recipe book.
Yeah. But so this, I think the recipes in this week are probably my favorites, just because when it comes to vegetables, you have so many things you can do. And so I pulled from so many just sides of my life, inspiration. Again, super easy stuff. 6 ingredients or less, including spices and shit. So like really, really simple. And the veggie starter really helps because veggies contain
Fiber.
I
was like acetyl elements.
fiber. And so
Phytonutrients too.
also, yes, you were searching for the complicated thing.
Yeah,
I wanted to go
I know.
simple.
Okay.
Okay, so
We've failed every single one of those. Any guest has ever done. Let's do the quiz. We failed every time.
what's my name?
Glucose goddess.
Just kidding.
Gigi.
Inchauspé.
Perfect.
And Giuseppe.
Thank you.
Perfect, guys. I love you guys.
It's,
okay,
right?
No, it's not.
Oh,
Fuck.
So it's Inchauspé.
Oh.
Because you said it
I
before.
know, it was a joke. I said it as a joke. Okay, so fiber. Why is fiber cool before a meal? So veggies contain fiber, and fiber is amazing because when we eat fiber before a meal, she's got time to make it to our stomach, then our upper intestine, and then deploy herself onto the walls of our upper intestine, forming this protective mesh, like a shield that protects you from any glucose coming down afterwards during the meal. So you can still eat the same thing you would usually eat the rest of the meal, but just by adding this veggie starter, you're protecting your glucose levels. You're avoiding the inflammation, the aging, the roller coaster, the cravings, etc. And you're eating more than usual, and it's freaking delicious.
So when people are at a restaurant and there's bread on the table, what do we ask for so that we can kind of start?
You ask for like any sides. You know, often you'll
Yes.
see like the mains have sides.
Yes.
You can ask like for a side salad, some beans, some sauteed spinach, some cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, whatever, or just a very simple green salad. Most restaurants have that.
Okay.
And then you keep the bread for like after during the
After it.
main. Yeah.
Okay.
And, you know, in the method, I also give lots of tips for what to do when you're at a restaurant, at work, traveling. It's not
Amazing.
just like stay at home for 4 weeks and just cook and don't move anymore.
Totally.
It's very, you can fold it into your life.
And are there certain vegetables that you would recommend over others, or are we just saying all vegetables?
All veggies.
Okay.
Raw, cooked, broiled, whatever. You just want to avoid like making too many super highly blended soups. Because when you blend something a lot, you're pulverizing the fiber particles. And so the fiber is less effective.
Interesting.
Wow, I eat soup that's like that all the time.
That's fine. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
Right? Like soup is amazing. But in the context of wanting to add a veggie starter to a meal, a soup is going to be slightly less effective than the whole vegetable.
Wow. Okay.
And there's no difference between, because sometimes I feel like certain vegetables, if I eat them raw over, say, a steamed or sauteed or baked, they kind of mess with my system, but that's just individual.
So you mean the raw ones mess
Yeah.
with the system? Yeah, sometimes they're a bit harder to digest.
Okay.
So it's really up
But
to
it's
you.
still good for the
Yeah.
deploying.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, she's going to deploy.
You know, when you get a package in the mail and you get really excited, you're like, this is a good one. I feel good about this. I'm excited to use it. And Earth Breeze came in the mail, and I was so jazzed because Earth Breeze is the best support for us creating a better, cleaner tomorrow. So there's so much single-use plastic in packaging, and it's really causing harm on our planet. So what I love about Earth Breeze is that they created really powerful products for your home without the single-use packaging. So from that point, they really have dedicated themselves to reducing waste and giving back and making a difference, empowering so many others to do the same. So my new Earth Breeze laundry detergent Eco Sheets, they look like dryer sheets, which is crazy, but they're not. They're really revolutionary liquidless laundry detergent that dissolves 100% in the wash cycle, hot or cold. There's no measuring, no mess, and no heavy plastic jugs. You just toss the sheet in. So they've really made the concept of detergent so much better. The packaging is lightweight, it's biodegradable, it's plastic-free, and it's great for all laundry lifestyles, even sensitive skin. I really love this because whenever I get the big jugs of detergent, it feels really weird to pour it in from a plastic jug and then know that that liquid detergent's going on my clothes, which is going on my skin. So when I got Earth Breeze to my house, I was so excited because it's like in this folder almost. That's a recyclable paper, and the sheets go into the wash so much more easily, and my clothes felt amazing. So you still get a really, really powerful clean. Earth Breeze is super tough on stains. Y'all know me, I got stains on everything. It fights odors, and your clothes come out clean every single time. This is a product and brand I'm so excited about. I'm so grateful that they're working with Almost 30 because I really think it's things like this that make truly such a difference. So Earth Breeze is the company. They're supporting our earth, they're supporting other people, and they're supporting us in having a clean, beautiful closet and reducing single-use plastic in a major way. So don't just take my word for it that it's so amazing. I would love if you tried it for yourself with their risk-free 100% satisfaction guarantee. So if you don't like it, Earth Breeze will give you a full refund. No questions asked, no return necessary. So this is risk-free, y'all. You can get a free refund. Try it out. I think you'll really love it. So switch from the old-fashioned goo to something new. Right now, listeners from Almost 30 can subscribe to Earth Breeze and save 40% off. So go to earthbreeze.com/almost30 to get started. That's earthbreeze.com/almost30 for 40% off Earth Breeze. That's earthbreeze.com/almost30 and get 40% off. Try it out. I think you're going to love it. One of our team members here at Almost 30 just sent me a text. She said, "Hey girl, I accidentally got the Nutrafol sent to your house. Can you bring it over for me? Because I am in need." And I was like, yes, I've got you. I've got my own stash. You need your stash. It is something that the entire team at Almost 30 takes. Nutrafol is the best supplement for hair care. It helps your hair from the inside out. It's truly incredible. A few of the people on our team, and even me sometimes, has hair thinning problems and just really wants thick, luxurious hair. And hair thinning really happens to so many people. It happens to 1 in 2 women. So if you're among them, you're not alone. And Nutrafol is really there to help you deliver results. It gives you visibly thicker hair with less shedding and really helps my hair grow too, which I feel really amazing about. What I love about their supplements is that they're natural supplements with medical grade ingredients to target the root causes of thinning hair and promote healthy hair growth. So they're the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement for women, clinically shown to improve your hair growth, visible thickness, and visible scalp damage. So whether you're postpartum, maybe you just had a baby, you're menopause, or no matter the root cause, it could be hormonal or stress, Nutrafol has 4 unique formulas to support women. Each is physician formulated with natural, drug-free, medical-grade ingredients that get you the most reliable results. And the thing about supplements for your hair is that there's a lot on the market, but not all of them have been tested as much as Nutrafol, and not all of them have as much data to back it up. So you could take something that could be wild and crazy that you get at the store for your hair, but it's not going to have the science-backed results, and it's not probably going to help you in the long run to support your hair growth and thinning from the inside out. So in a clinical study, they had 86% of women reported improved hair growth after 6 months. I've probably been taking it for 2 years now, and I've really noticed just denser, thicker hair, which has been so incredible. So take the first step to having your most beautiful hair and greater confidence and feeling more like yourself. And for a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners of Almost 30 $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code ALMOST30. So you can find out why over 3,500 healthcare professionals recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. You can go to Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, and the promo code is ALMOST30. Support the show, support your beauty, and support your hair by going to Nutrafol.com/almost30 and get $10 off your first order and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and use promo code ALMOST30. Okay, 3rd week we have veggies. 4th week is walking.
Movement after meals.
Okay, what kind of movement?
10 minutes. 10 minutes after a meal.
What are the benefits? What's the research?
Oh, okay. So your muscles are amazing allies on your journey to steady glucose and feeling well. So your muscles, when they contract, they need energy to do so. And the more they contract, the more energy they need. And the first place they look for energy is in glucose in your bloodstream. Glucose is your body's favorite source of energy. And so we can use this to our advantage. And the hack is, after 1 meal a day, use your muscles for 10 minutes. Okay, and so this might feel daunting, like, oh my God, you have to go to the gym, like what's going on? No. It can be very simple movement. You can go for a walk, you can clean your apartment, you can also do my new favorite thing, which is, ladies, we'll do it together now. Okay, put your feet on the floor. Okay. And do some calf raises. Okay. So you go on your tippy toes and then back down, and you feel your calf muscle contracting. Yeah. And you go up and down, up and down.
Soleus muscle.
Yes, queen.
It was on your Instagram.
Yeah, just learned it a minute ago.
So exactly. So your calves contain this soleus muscle, which is extra talented at soaking up glucose from your bloodstream. Ooh. So you can be at work, even if you had to eat lunch at your desk, even if you can't get up for 1 second, you just do this for 10 minutes, and that counts as your movement hack. So we're really talking simple things here that anybody can do. And as you see, the results are really astonishing. So I'm very excited.
So it's like calf raises underneath your desk, or just calf raises in general.
Or you can do a YouTube video, you can dance, you can go ice skating, like whatever you want.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
10 minutes, once a day.
And I was actually curious with eating, is there any research or studies on if you're eating food consciously or unconsciously and the effects on your blood glucose levels?
You're psychic.
I am, actually.
I'm preparing a post on this.
Okay.
Wow. So yes, mindful eating. So mindful eating means eating without looking at a screen.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And I love eating while watching a movie or Netflix. It's like my passion.
Like, what are your interests?
Eating while
gazing
watching Netflix.
Into the Black Mirror and eating.
So yes, absolutely. So the research is showing some really interesting stuff. They took 2 groups of people, and all they did was they taught one group how to mindfully eat, and they didn't teach the other group. And that was it. And they followed them for a few months. The group of people who were taught to mindfully eat, therefore did it more often, saw a big improvement in their health and an improvement in their glucose levels. Wow. Yeah. Because when you're mindfully eating, first of all, you're probably more aware of your body's like hunger and fullness cues. So you're probably going to be eating like an amount that is better suited to your body. And second, when you're eating mindfully, your body's like, okay, I'm eating now. Like, let's focus on this and let's try to make this as good of an experience as possible. Let's process the food as well as we can. So all of those nice things contribute to helping your health.
I love that.
Amazing.
And again, like this is such
I make a commitment just one meal a day. My breakfast is mindful.
Wow. Good for you.
Is that good?
Fuck yeah.
One meal? That's kind of sad.
No, most people have 0 meals.
1 out of 3 though. Like think of the
And the
That's
rest
a lot,
I'm just
Krista.
fucking face down on the ground.
And again, like,
But I have to force myself. I'm
yeah,
like,
it's really hard. It's
and I
really
pray
hard.
over my food, and I'm like putting my stevia in, and I'm like, this is magic stevia. It's bringing money into my life.
Yes.
Every time I eat it. With movement, you know, and doing exercise or 10 minutes of movement after walking outside is something that we really love.
Yes.
And I love that correlates to the research on grounding.
Yeah.
Grounding, something I'm really passionate about, getting in nature, getting our feet on the ground. So what's the correlation between grounding and blood glucose levels? That can be inspiration for people in week 4 that want to move.
I love grounding as well. I'm obsessed, especially when it's on grass and the grass is a bit wet.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh. And it's
say
like
no
you
more.
sink a little bit.
Yeah.
That was like childhood.
I know, same. I love that.
So good.
Yeah.
It's the best feeling.
It's the
Your little
best.
toes between the grass.
It's like you're hydrating through your feet.
Yes, totally.
So there's some pretty amazing stuff that happens when we ground. And what I'm about to say is not like woo-woo, it's actually like proper science. When you ground, your nervous system connects to the Earth's nervous system. And any excess electrons move from your body into the ground, literally balancing out like your electric charge.
Wow.
And that has a whole bunch of positive effects on so many things in your body, but in particular on your glucose levels. So this study was done, and they grounded people artificially by placing them in like a situation where there's a current going from them to the ground, whatever. It was like a scientific setting, right? And they grounded these people for like 4 hours. So it's way too long and you would never do that. But it was just to prove the point. And these were people who had type 2 diabetes. They were able to significantly reduce their glucose levels by it's not going to mean much to you, but by 50 milligrams per deciliter, which is huge reduction. Like it's massive.
Wow.
And so for us, you know, even doing this like 10 minutes once a week has big benefits. And the scientists think that this helps your glucose levels because it reduces stress in the body. It helps things move more smoothly. And glucose and stress are very linked. So the more you're experiencing stress, the higher your glucose will be. The higher your glucose will be, the more stressful it is to your body. So it becomes this sort of like vicious cycle. So grounding is one of the ways to break that cycle.
And the extra electrons in your body, I guess, do we know what is bad about that?
Well, we're electric beings, so we want a balance of positive and negative
Right,
within
I
our
think
bodies.
so.
So when you have too many, it's like too much positive charge, the negative charge is balanced out by the earth.
Right.
Because the earth is negatively charged.
Thank you.
So it's inflammation. Yeah. We're electric beings.
Totally.
We are.
Totally.
That's why
We
we need
really
the
are.
balance.
Yeah.
So
that's where
Earth and the sun, are there any other elements of nature like water that could be helpful? Or like, I guess just in like movement or anything
Breathing,
like that. Breathing.
like
breath work.
breath work
air.
helps as well. Essentially, all the things that just help the body be in better balance and more connected seem to also help with glucose, because your glucose levels are almost like the pulse in your body. You know, they go up and down a lot, and they impact everything, but they're also impacted by everything. So, naturally, when you take on these sorts of practices that are just overall good for a human being, you'll see a benefit also in your glucose levels.
You mentioned before we started that during the study there was a few people who were able to get pregnant. Not that that was the goal.
Yes.
But I'm curious what the link is to fertility.
Absolutely. So, infertility in females and polycystic ovarian syndrome is really increasing in prevalence, like really, really a lot. And now we're starting to understand that in most cases, if you have PCOS or fertility problems, it's because there's too much testosterone in a female body. So too many male sex hormones in a female body. And having excess testosterone is a direct consequence of glucose spikes that then lead to insulin levels being too high, that then increase testosterone. So when we talk about polycystic ovarian syndrome, we're kind of talking about a group, like a big bag of symptoms that are just kind of grouped together and that all have that same cause of too much testosterone. So cystic ovaries, missed periods or just no periods, balding on the head when you're female, hair growth on like the chin and the face, acne, etc. And so often when you have PCOS, you're given the birth control pill because that contains female hormones. And so that brings back the balance artificially in the body. But really, you need to look at the underlying cause if you want to fix this issue for good. Sure. And a lot of women who've been on the pill for decades, they want to have a baby, they stop the pill, and then they're like, oh my God, I don't have my period. I'm not ovulating. Like, what's going on? And so that's something I'm seeing very frequently. And in the study, 3 women who were in that situation of no more periods since stopping the pill, being told they would have to do IVF. Well, thankfully, the universe brought them to this method and they were able to actually get pregnant like week 3 and 4, I think, of the method. 3 people in this study. Wow. So just to show you how important it is to balance your glucose levels if you're on a journey to make sure hormones are balanced. Of course, it's not the only thing, but it's the non-negotiable foundation. If you don't have that, it's going to be really tough to solve the issue.
That is powerful. The one thing I wanted to talk about too was skin and glucose, because I think you've been talking a little bit about skin and glucose. So what is the relationship between having healthy, beautiful, vibrant skin and your glucose levels?
Do you want to talk more about like the wrinkles and aging side or more like the acne, eczema side, or both?
Wrinkles and aging. You know it, baby.
Is that funny to you?
Because we're only 28 and we just want to be
People
proactive.
tell me that I might have wrinkles at some point.
Well, not with the glucose hacks. Don't worry. Okay, so this is kind of funny, but from the moment you're born, you're slowly cooking like a chicken in the oven. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. So from the moment you're born, you're slowly cooking. Then when you're fully cooked, you die. Let me explain. So when you put
I love this.
So when you put a chicken in the oven, it goes from pink to brown, right? It's cooked. It's also browned. And that process is called glycation. Glycation is cooking. And in the body, from the moment you're born, you're slowly glycating. You're slowly aging. You're slowly cooking. This happens in all of us. And if you look at like the cartilage of babies, it's white. If you look at the cartilage of somebody who's 100 years old, it's brown because they've actually browned. Anyway, we can't avoid the cooking. We're all chicken in the oven, but we can slow it down or speed it up. Okay. And the more glucose spikes you have, the faster that process happens, the faster you're cooking, the faster you're aging. And that shows on your skin as wrinkles, but also your organs are slowly deteriorating. And you might hear that glycation kind of sounds like glucose. And the actual biochemical thing happening in your body is that when there's lots of glucose around, glucose bumps into other molecules and it kind of damages them. And it does what's called, it glycates the other molecules. And if glucose glycates a molecule of collagen, the collagen is then broken. And therefore, that's an impact on your skin because healthy skin needs a lot of collagen. So it's very linked. It's very cool. It's very interesting. And I know for a lot of people, that's quite motivating. It's like, I want to avoid the spikes because I want to age more slowly.
Yeah, the collagen connection is fascinating, actually.
Yes.
I wouldn't have thought about that. But you can tell, I mean, when I see people that eat really well, and I would have thought it would have been more about the healthy fats or the fiber or the protein. But yeah, having those blood sugar spikes, even if they're not overweight or they don't have diabetes, you can kind of look at their skin and tell.
And it's a lot of different things, right? So glucose is one aspect, not smoking, not drinking too much alcohol. Like there are many aspects. Glucose is one really helpful like prism through which to see everything and through which we can approach health in an easy, fun way. But of course, it's not everything. But it is the undeniable foundation. Like you cannot have a healthy body and mind if your glucose levels are completely all over the place.
So I just packed a bag for a trip. I know that a lot of us are traveling again now that we can. And when I packed my bag, I made sure to throw seed inside of it because I know that it's going to help me with my digestion. It's going to help me stay regular. It helps my skin stay clear and beautiful. And it's really the best support when I travel. Sometimes when I'm on the go or on the road, my digestion can kind of be off, my gut can be off, and I can feel low energy because of all the changes in food and sleep and location and water. So seed is like my favorite thing that promotes immunity, promotes beautiful skin, impacts the gut in a really good way, helps with smoother, clearer gut issues. And I know that all the LA wellness influencer girlies are huge fans of seed on and off the gram. I think every single one of my friends takes it because we know that it's helped our digestion and skin in such a major way. I'm really excited if you try seed because if there's any supplements that you can take to support you, this is such a powerful one because we know the great connection between your gut and your mental health and your energy and your skin and all parts of your body. The gut is called the second brain for a reason. And seed is like the one to get because they are so incredible. You can really avoid like the weird probiotic world by going to the trusted source for symbiotics. In order to get 25% off seed, which is so exciting, 25% off is such a great value. You can go to seed.com/almost30 and use code almost30 to get 25% off your first month of Seed's Daily Symbiotic. That's seed.com/almost30 and use code almost30 for 25% off. I'm really excited for you to support yourself in this major way with seed.com/almost30 and use code almost30 to get 25% off.
I know on your Instagram you were mentioning the connection between glucose, cancer, and something else that I'm forgetting.
Workouts.
Exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Can we explain that?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a cool, like quite early study, so it needs replication. But what scientists have found is that when you exercise very strong, like doing a HIIT workout, which is high intensity interval training, as I mentioned, your muscles need a lot of glucose for energy. And so when you have that kind of intense exercise, all the glucose in your body goes to, well, not all of it, but like a big part of it goes to your muscles to feed your muscles. And that helps kind of starve specific types of tumors that rely on glucose for energy. So that's why people are seeing, they're like, oh, this type of exercise through the glucose mechanism is helping people with their cancer. But again, that's not very surprising. Like, we know that exercise is the number one most anti-aging thing you can do, period. Like, period. If people could bottle the effect of exercise and sell that as a pill, it would be the most sold, medication in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people love pills. I want to talk about something I saw on your Instagram that I thought was fascinating was cooking and reheating starches. This was such a good one because it's again, you're not changing what you're eating. You're just changing the process. So tell us about that.
So when you cook a starch, bread, pasta, rice, potatoes, that kind of stuff. Okay. Oats. So when you cook a starch and then you cool it down all the way down. Okay. So it can be on your counter or in your fridge and it just needs to cool all the way down. Some of the starch during the cooling process turn to something that's very similar to fiber. They kind of transform from starch to fiber. Technically, this fiber-like thing is called resistant starch. It's a different name, but it's kind of the same thing as fiber. And so as a result, you now have, for example, sweet potato. It was a sweet potato. You cooked it. You cooled it. Now it's a sweet potato with extra fiber in it. So smaller glucose spike. And then after it's cooled down, you can reheat it, recool it as many times as you want, no problem. It's still going to retain those helpful properties of that resistant starch. So very cool, especially if you do like batch cooking or you have leftovers for breakfast. My favorite breakfast. It's really simple, really amazing.
Wow. I love sweet
So when I'm
potatoes.
eating like my cold dinner from the night before,
You're
like
doing
from the
great,
fridge.
girl.
Yes, that's more reason to eat leftovers, y'all.
Yes. Leftovers for breakfast is my number one favorite
What's
breakfast.
your
I
favorite
love that.
leftover?
Cauliflower. I'm a massive
Love
cauliflower fan.
same.
Or Indian food leftover I love as well.
What do
In
you
the
get for
morning,
what kind of Indian food?
I get butter chicken. I get the sag paneer, the spinach with the cheese, and then rice. And then in the morning, I put it in a pan, I reheat it, and then I crack some eggs in it.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So good.
That is freaking
Yeah, that's real good.
bomb.
Real good.
That is bomb.
Real good.
I mean, that's fascinating. I'll never forget that fact.
Yay.
For the 4 weeks, do we think we covered all the everything in, or not everything, obviously, but the 4-week flow?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Perfect.
To review,
Yeah.
savory breakfast,
Vinegar,
adding in vinegar,
veggie starter,
veggie starter.
and movement.
Movement.
The fast track to your new life. That's how I want people to experience this. It's me moving in with you, fast tracking you to something you've been wanting to do forever. And that was just difficult to start. Like, this is it. And we're all starting together on May 22nd.
Oh,
really?
Mm-hmm.
Party time.
Party time. Yeah.
Everybody in your community?
Monday, May 22nd. Yes. Well, everybody who gets the book, essentially.
Did anyone that did the study where they
die?
Kids? Just kidding. Any kids?
Well, that's a good one.
Oh, good
Probably
question.
not. But like, I'd be so curious.
I actually excluded anybody who was under 20, just for my particular pilot experiment purposes. But a lot of people told me that while they were doing the method, they started giving like the veggie starter to their kids. There's one veggie starter recipe, which is radishes with dill and yogurt, and it's really, really good. And a lot of moms reached out and were like, my kids love this veggie starter. So yes, do it with your family, you know?
Do it with the family.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What would be the benefit of a child having healthy blood glucose levels?
Okay, so this is a topic I want to go into. I haven't done all the research yet, but from what I've learned so far, it's very beneficial.
I'm sure.
On growth, on brain, on tantrums, on mood, on sleep, on everything.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I'll see children and they're like eating like a bag of gummy bears, just like freaking out. And you're like, of course, their brain is like completely absorbing all of that and the artificial colors.
I think they've also done studies on children with autism and sugar intake and just how that's either helped or hindered their symptoms, the severity.
Wow.
So that's the next chapter at some point.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
To glucose keto. No, it has to be a G.
Glucose.
Gnomes.
I know. Googly gats.
Glucose gnomes. I love it.
And they could have little gnome merch. They're like little gnomes.
Glucose giggles.
Yes, the glucose
something like that.
Glucose.
The glucose gang.
Good.
I mean, we need to get you into schools.
I mean, glucose girls. That's cute.
Yeah, glucose girls is cute.
But then glucose girls and
GURLZ.
Yeah. The glucose
girls.
gang.
Yeah, the glucose girls gang.
All grades.
I get 10% of that. I get 10% of that.
Since I met you, Krista, you're like, that's my idea, but I get 10%.
I know, honestly, because I know what you're doing behind the scenes, and I want 10% of it. Damn it. We love you so much. I'm so excited about this. It's like, yeah, I just am so grateful to know you, and I'm so inspired by you, and I just... And my last question is, you're dying today. What do you want to tell us?
Oh, shut up. Bite your tongue. That's horrible. Go like this.
Yeah, bite your tongue.
So I don't actually die.
No.
Oh, really? You're not allowed to?
Well, so biting your tongue tells the universe that like you didn't mean it.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay. Punch yourself in the face. Oh my gosh. Okay, what is your last question? What's your wish for everyone that gets the book?
That they open it and they're like, wow, love, ease, I can fucking do this. I'm a boss. I got this. Yes. Just like wanting to dive right in. And you'll notice there's so many things in this book that I did specifically so you get that feeling. So to give you another example, in the recipes, there's little bullet points with each step. And in each bullet point, the actual ingredient you need for that step is bolded so that really quickly you can see, okay, first step, I need onions and spinach, right? I just want everything to be super freaking simple. It's not a complicated cookbook. It's just like literally your fast track guide. Not complicated. Super, super simple.
Do you want them to succeed?
Absolutely.
And feel really good.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Congratulations, baby.
The book.
I'll join the group on the 22nd.
Yes.
Me too. The Glucose Goddess Method is the book. We're so excited. Make sure you get it. It's out now. This episode is
right around that time.
It's happening.
Glucose Goddess on Instagram. Our first episode you can listen to. Search Glucose Goddess, Almost 30 podcast, one of my favorites. And we love you so much. Thank you so much, Jessie. We love you so much. GlucoseGoddess.com, Glucose Goddess on Instagram to find more about her. And the book is The Glucose Goddess Method.
We love you guys. Thank you for listening to Almost 30. If your OG's been with us for 7 years, holy cow. Thank you. We love you. And if you're new, make sure you're subscribed. And please send this episode or any others that you love to a friend or family member. It's a great way to start a conversation. But just stay well until next time, y'all.
We love you so much. Ta-ta. Goodbye.
Later.
World.